Hi everyone. So today I'm not here obviously, so I've done this little video to show you what you need to do today. We're working on our gold prospector folio, and if you remember on the second page, down the bottom of the second page, we had our justification of the need for we changed that to a gold prospector. Some of you put a star beside this, and so you're going to come back and finish it. You can get that finished today. The other thing you can do today to finish is this in here, which is a modularization. We've worked on the modularization. We've made up a bit of a concept map, I guess, around here, and we put in all the different ideas of what things that the robot would need to be successful, a successful goal prospector. We then worked on the constraints, and we worked on the considerations, and you should have finished those. Remember, you needed about 5 constraints and about 2 to 3 considerations. And then from those constraints, we went and made up our evaluation criteria, and I did this one with you last lesson, where we made a score of 1 to 5 for the signaling when the gold is found, and you need to finish off the rest of those. Most of you are pretty close to that. If you are finished that, then you're going to be going on to the next section, which is starting to code the robot program. And I'll just show you, these are the instructions that I've given for your teacher today. So you need to code for each individual module, and don't try and do the whole solution all at once. Remember when we talked about that? If you try and do the whole solution at once, it just won't work. So you get part marks for each correctly coded module that you do with an algorithm. So if I go back to here, you'll have written in here something, for example, like, I don't know, maybe go forwards. You might have another one that is turn and go backwards. And you might have a search pattern, and you might have a search for gold and all these other modules that are in here. You need to code each one of those individual modules. Don't try and do the whole solution all at once. So you need to start off by doing this really. Begin by choosing the first module that you want to code. It's likely going to be making the robot move around the salt lake. And it might involve the edge detection as well, but we'll get to that in a second. You then need to create the algorithm and a flowchart in your book, so you need to write out a flowchart in your book like we have before. Then you need to go into Mindstorms and create the program in Mindstorms, test the program and refine it, and then once you've done that, I want you to save that program as search pattern or something similar. If you do a different module, then I want you to save it as an appropriate name in your documents. Then repeat for the next module. I don't suspect that you're going to get any more than one done today. So let's say, for example, that we're going to create the flowchart, or the first module that we're going to do is getting the robot to move around the table. So the table that we've got is actually bordered by a thick black metal strip, and we need to get our robot firstly to go. We're just at the moment, I guess, doing the brief, aren't we? So we need to get the robot to go and move around this table. Now you could get it to go straight across and down. You could get it to do some sort of regular pattern like this, or you could get it to do similar to what we've done in the past, where we got it to go in sort of more random patterns, I guess. Something like this maybe. And you need to decide what you're going to do here, because that's going to determine what program you're going to run. So let's say, for example, that we're going to do the random pattern. The first part of our algorithm will be obviously starting, like we have before. And then what do we want to do? Well, we want the robot to go forward, don't we? So we're going to say go forward. Oh, let's do better than that. Let's go and say turn on motor A and B at 50% forwards. Okay, that's our first block of code that we're going to put in. You could go and do that first if you wanted to. So we want to go forward, and then what do we want to do? Well, if you remember back, what we need to be doing now is we need to take an input. We need to take an input from the color sensor. Input from color sensor. And once we take an input, what do we do then? Well, we need to make a decision with that input. And remember, decisions are diamonds. And we're going to use that information that comes in to make a decision about the black edge. And if that decision is true, we're going to do something. And if it's false, we're going to do something else. And you see my point now. So you're just going to continue on. Once you've got that algorithm drawn up, then you go into Lego Mindstorms, and that's where we're going to go and put in our whatever code that you want to have put in here to get your robot to do what you think it needs to do based on your algorithm. So if I go back to here, your instructions for today: 1. Begin by choosing the first module you want to code. You might make the robot move around the salt lake. You then need to create the algorithm, flowchart, write that down in your books. You then need to create the program in Mindstorms. So once you've done this over here, go and create the program in Mindstorms, test and refine it like we've done before with all the other modules, briefs that you've done. And once you've created and tested the program and you're happy with your program, save the program as a search pattern in your documents or whatever the other file name you're going to call it based on what module you started with, then repeat for the next module. Thanks guys, have a great day.